Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Richard. Here's the Dacia Spring. Just a couple of shout outs. Ian, you're right about these tyres, and this is in the dry weather. Going around the corners, the country lanes, semi-vigorous but not over vigorous. It's not like we're rally driving. They do tend to squeal, and as you're going around the long sweeping bends on the A roads, you sometimes feel they're about to lose grip. So good shout out on that. I think we might get these tyres replaced with something a bit more typical of the UK. Larry, I've got a package for you. I'm about to send it. Roy, I'll email you regarding the t-shirt and that. Let's get this car done. There we are, there's the car gone. If anybody wants a t-shirt, a bankrupt t-shirt, let's just turn around. There we are. Send an email to the email address for the channel, richard.banforth@gmail.com, and we'll sort out the costs and the postage and packaging. I've got medium, large and extra large in khaki green and a light blue. There we are. Right, let's get in the car, let's go for a drive, and I'll tell you the experiences over the last few days. Just before we go out and go for a drive and give you a few more stories, one of the viewers asked to have a look at the air conditioning and the heater controls. So here are the heater controls. I can turn it up. And I can adjust the temperature here to full or down. This is for the rear demister on the rear windscreen. This is for max for the windscreen at the front. I can turn that off. Notice when you turn the max on, the air conditioning comes on, which is correct. It does need that. Regarding where the air direction is, down, bottom, down, and these vents here, and just these vents here, and windscreen and feet, and just windscreen, and that's about it. Air conditioning, I'm assuming the air conditioning works. I am assuming the air conditioning works in the hot weather. It's currently, let's turn it down. It's currently on minimum temperature, air conditioning on, and it's coming through cold. It is coming through cold. If I turn that off, one thing you should know is that when you turn it up, it does take a minute or so to come through with hot air, and it's not particularly hot. It's just warm. Yes, it is warm, so the cabin will take some time to warm up. You have the recirculation button here, which I assume helps in the winter time to keep the cabin warm, and the summertime to keep the cabin cool with the air conditioning. That's about it for that. At some other point in the very near future, we'll also go through the mechanics of each of the screens, yeah? So we'll go through that in another video in the very near future. Let's go for a drive. Okay, let's set off. Let's close this window so we don't get too much noise. And we'll put the heating on cold, on very low. Put it in drive. In fact, let's just move this microphone onto my seatbelt. Okay, that should be okay. Right, we're ready to move. We're in drive. Okay. The 0 to 40 mile an hour on this car is absolutely superb. From what I remember, this is way faster than a Toyota Aygo. Yeah, Here we go. Yep, absolutely fast. That's 35 mile an hour. Absolutely wonderful. Anyway, a couple of things if you're thinking about buying the Dacia Spring. Let's try and get out of this junction. If you're thinking about buying the Dacia Spring, Ian raised an issue with the tyres from China, and a few people commented that they should be good and all that kind of thing. Okay, I haven't tested them out in the wet yet, not properly, but I was driving this car yesterday quite vigorously round some corners, and let's put it this way, if there were motorcycle tyres, I would get them changed immediately. They were squealing and not enjoying the corners too much, and I wouldn't have expected them to start squealing at such a speed. Yeah, admittedly it's not a rally car, yes, but even so, my other car would naturally go round at those speeds around a particular corner, and it did feel like they were maybe on the edge of their limits. Yeah, I'm just saying. So Ian, you're right, and that's in the dry on a nice sunny day as it was yesterday, the 30th of March 2025. So I'm just telling you, you should be aware of that. Of course, if you're only doing 25 mile an hour and all that, that's absolutely, I'm guessing they're okay. I am guessing the tyres are okay. Another thing, there's a knob here on the end that allows you to permanently put on the front lights and the rear lights, yes? Or the front lights, the headlamps, let's not kill any birds. When you are indicating, make sure no one's following me or that's in front of me. Let's get around this corner. When you indicate, hang on, when you indicate like that, yeah, sometimes you nudge this switch which turns the lights on permanently. So if you're in the day, driving around in daytime, you don't realize that you've turned the lights on, and as such you are using more battery than you would normally use, as if it was in the automatic setting where the lights come on and off, right? So just be aware of that. Just double check that, because you're using more battery to power the headlights, etc. Okay? Automatic headlights. My goodness, do the automatic headlights come on early? It's not even going dark and the headlights come on. They really need to be adjusted so they don't come on so early, so you're not wasting battery. Yeah. Now, I haven't got x-ray vision or anything like that. I'm 58 now, and I know my eyesight's not working as well as it used to. But you know, I didn't need the headlights on at that time of day when the sun was shining, low in the sky maybe, but it was still shining. They don't need to come on. So there's a couple of gripes. A couple of things that you should be aware of. Another thing that you should be aware of, when you're on cruise control and it goes down a gradient, when the car's going down a gradient, you can feel the car pulsing. Now this is exaggerated. You can feel it going, and that makes you go like this. This exaggerated. It's like, as it's going down a gradient, yeah? You should be aware of that. Dacia, a firmware update may resolve that issue, as well as the headlights coming on too early. Yeah, you might want to, Dacia, send out a firmware update and do something like that. It's a bit disconcerting when you're going down a gradient with the cruise control on, 50 mile an hour, and the passengers agreed. It felt strange. Yes, it doesn't feel like a typical cruise control when it's going downhill. There's the gripes. Yesterday, from a full charge, which shows in end of March 2025, it's a bit cool outside, it showed a range of 129 miles. Okay, let's see if we can find somewhere to pull up. 129 miles. I plotted a trip out to test the range of the battery, and that trip was, move out of the way, birds, keep flying, move out of my way. The birds are very adventurous here. So I plotted a route out from Eckershall in Staffordshire over to Matlock Bath, where all the motorcycles are, of which I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday, then over to Bakewell, and then on to Buxton, and then from Buxton over to Leek, and then back to Eckershall, Staffordshire. The journey, the full circular journey, was about 105 miles, and I can say that the accuracy on the remaining range was absolutely spot on, absolutely perfect. So that's good. Yeah, so if it says 129 miles, you'll get 129 miles. Of course, you don't want to run it to zero, but regardless. So, got home okay, plugged the vehicle in with a remaining 25 miles in the battery. So 105 plus 25 equals 130 miles. Yep, good. That's good. That is good. My plan was to use the CCS2 adapter at Buxton to recharge the battery, not necessarily to full, but just test the process, because I've never recharged it. I've never recharged it other than at the house with the granny charger at 2 kilowatts an hour, which is perfect. However, I was going to pull up there. In fact, let's pull up there. Just bear with me. Reverse. Oh, by the way, I think this car will go in as fast in reverse as it does forward. I'm not sure. I haven't tested it out, but that would be interesting. It seems to really want to go in reverse. Let's just pull up here, just for a second. Stick it in neutral. By the way, that's an interesting thing. If you're in gear, drive or reverse, and turn off the ignition and pull the key out, it seems to put it back into neutral. Okay? Something to bear that in mind. So you might not need to be so cautious about when you pull the key out and it's still in drive or reverse. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it seems to be okay. If you're thinking about getting one, take note of that. Tractor's just gone past. There we are. If it wasn't for farmers, you wouldn't have any food. So look after the farmers. What was I saying? So 105 miles. I went to Buxton, went to the first charging station, and it wasn't working. Went to the second charging station in Buxton, and it didn't exist. Now, is this a common problem when charging your electric car, unless you're going up and down the motorway? Yeah. Unless you're going, is it a common problem? So this is my first experience about, so I went out, yeah, first first time and try charging the car on the services available on the streets, yeah, and the car parks, and it just didn't work. Just didn't work. So, well, the first one was BP Pulse. Of course, you have to get there and you have to download the app. And then when you've downloaded the app, you plug in your car and then they tell you that the system's broken. So there's 10 minutes wasted, which is very sad. Why is it that you have to download an app? And do you know when we go and fill petrol up in the car? You don't have to download an app for BP or Esso or Sainsbury's or Tesco. You just go in, you shove the nozzle in and you go and pay for it. Why can't I go to an electric charging point, wherever it may be, put the nozzle in, flash my card, and then say charge up to 70% or 80%, and that's it, and it'll say come back in 25 minutes, it should be done. Why do I have to download apps? And I come from IT. I'm in IT, yeah? We're just making the world stupidly complicated, and it's not necessary. It's just not necessary. All you want to do, roll up to a parking place, shove the CCS2 connector into the front of the car or wherever you charge the car. You want to walk up with a debit card or a Visa card, splash it and say fill up to 80%. That'll cost £10.50. Okay, go. Do you understand what I mean? The world is stupidly complicated today. It does not need to be. We've had some 100 years of evolution of selling petrol and diesel, and now we've gone and made it unnecessarily complicated. It is bizarre. It is bizarre. So if you're thinking about getting an electric vehicle, or if you're thinking about the Spring, and this is going to be your first electric vehicle, I'll set your expectations now. The world of charging it up is not as simple as it could be. Yeah? We've got to make things simpler for the end user, and we just don't seem to be. Let's turn it on. Ready. Drive. Let's go for a drive. Are you thinking about getting a Spring? Are you thinking about getting an electric car? Are you thinking about trading your Range Rover in, your SUV that costs you £420 a month because you're coming up to the end of the PCP agreement, and getting something that's a bit more economical? Oh, by the way, at 55 miles per hour on a normal road, I'm getting about 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour. Yeah? So I thought is that good? I think it's fairly good. Yeah? So you tell me, is 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour good or bad? Does a Tesla do more? Should it be 7.8? I don't know. Or 3.5? I don't know. I'm not an EV specialist. All I'm doing is sharing my experience of buying an electric vehicle, the Dacia Spring, because the numbers were right for what we needed it for. The numbers were right, yes? I'm no climate control or climate person that's interested in icebergs melting. Not at all. I'm not interested in that. I think it is what it is. But from a numbers game perspective and a cost perspective, this was absolutely right. As I previously told you, if you're a bit concerned that it's a bit slow, then don't be. Don't be. Yeah? 0 to 40 mile an hour, when most 98% of driving is done, this is really fast. Let's do it again. Right, have we got a stretch? Yeah, we've got a stretch. Here we go. Let's stop. Are you ready? Here we go. Foot down. 10, 25, 31. Yeah? This is fast. It's faster than a Toyota Aygo with its 3-cylinder engine. Yeah? This is fast. So 0 to 40, this is really fast. Oh yeah. And that's where most people drive, 0 to 40 mile an hour. If you think it's slow, it isn't. There we go. Heck of sure. There we are. There we go. There's the 40. There's 50. Coming up to 60. It's not a bad thing. I'm now having to slow down for a corner. There we are. It's not slow. Let me assure you, this car is not slow. All car wow and all that kind of thing, they must be comparing it to the equivalent of a Tesla that does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, but also costs an absolute fortune. This is fast. It's more than fast enough. Yeah? And it's a great fun car. And at £190 a month, which it costs me, that's £44 a week. It's a lot of fun for that kind of money. It's great fun. Would I buy another? Probably yes. Yeah, absolutely. It fits the purpose that it was purchased for. Yeah? This gets annoying. I've just turned it off where it starts steering. Now it's telling me to keep control. Where it starts steering for you. It does get a bit annoying, especially on the country roads that I drive on, because it can see the white line and it starts steering you. It's not how you would naturally drive the country roads, but it is okay. So I tend to turn it off. Ironically, I forgot to turn it off. By turning it off, I've also configured it so it doesn't start shouting at me when I'm doing over 30 mile an hour in a 30 mile an hour zone, which is very rare because I do tend to do the speed limit. Yeah, I'm currently rolling up into a 40, and then I set the cruise control of 40 mile an hour, 39 at the moment. Let's see, I think we're going to go downhill. Let's see if I can get that murmuring. Here we go. Here we go. Coming downhill. Hope you're finding this useful. Tell me in the comments below. If this is unadulterated bunkum and you don't need it, then tell me. Yeah? Right, that's 30 mile an hour going downhill. It's typical. It's not doing it now. It's not doing it at 30. When it's doing it, when it's about 50 miles per hour, it does do this. But at 30, it seems okay. In fact, it's very good. Are you finding this useful? Put the comments below. Give the video a like. Please subscribe. 95% of my viewers are unsubscribed. I'm begging you to subscribe. It affects the channel and it costs you nothing. And you can also, you know, when I start talking too much crap, you can always unsubscribe in the future. It would be really appreciated. 2025 is going to be a really interesting year, and the journey of the Dacia Spring, and lots of motorcycle content. I'm working with Potteries Motorcycles and Scooters, and they are allowing me to use their motorcycles for their demo motorcycles to promote motorcycling. So please subscribe, turn notifications on, share to your friends and family. Yeah, do share. Here we are in Eccleshall, where I live. Nice place. Voted one of the best places to live in the UK. We do have 3 Turkish barbers in a village that's not much bigger than a little village. It is bizarre. What's your thoughts on that? Don't want to get too political, but we also have the normal barbers as well that have been here for 40 years. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Turkish barbers everywhere. Of course, I don't need one because I haven't got any hair. And they always seem to be empty. They do always seem to be empty. Yeah? Is it me? I don't know. There we go. There's a guy in front. Hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been informative. If you're thinking about buying an electric vehicle, I hope this has helped. For the use case, for this particular vehicle, it's perfect. It really is at £44 a week. £44 buys you 3 packets of cigarettes, 8 or 9 pints of beer per week. Or if you're in London, £44 buys you 4.5 pints of beer. Yep. There you go. £44 buys you sweet and sour chicken, Cantonese style, with egg fried rice 4.5 times. There you go. Hope you found it useful. Hope you found it enjoyable, entertaining, and a bit of fun. I'll see you soon. Drive and ride carefully. I nearly got killed on a motorbike the other day. Go and look at the video in the library. Yeah, van driver tried to kill me. It's not his fault, he just couldn't see me. But he didn't look. So, anyway, do drive and ride carefully. And be kind to everyone. Send your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I'll see you very soon. Thanks very much. Bye bye.